Hi everyone. If you are in the process of writing theoretical or conceptual papers and planning to submit it in a journal or conference, in today's video I can explain what will be the criteria or the factors that are considered in judging your conceptual papers, which will lead to the eventual publishing of it. So let's get started. So in today's video, we'll take up the 7 factors that are considered in judging the conceptual factors most of the times. So the first one is, did you have anything new to say in your paper? So the examiners or the reviewers will look at the paper and see if you are making any significant value adding contribution to the current research or theory which is out there. Reviewers are not necessarily looking for totally new theories. However, modifications or extensions of current theories should alter the scholars' extant views in important ways. Proposed changes can be calibrated in terms of scope and degree. Scope tends to reflect the level of theorizing, general versus middle level, while degree reflects the radicalness of the proposal. Explaining it more simply, scope will determine how much of the research field has been impacted by your paper. And scope is less important in determining the merits of a contribution than is degree. So degree will determine how different is your research from what is currently out there. The second factor will be if the paper goes beyond making theoretical statements and also discusses how the ideas will be tested. So the examiners will be looking at the theory which is likely to change any practices of organizational science in the area, or are linkages to research evident, either explicitly laid out or easily or reliably deduced? Does your paper go beyond making only statements about the value of testing or even use the ideas? Are solutions proposed for correcting the deficiencies in the current theories or the flaws in the current theories? So these kind of questions are less appropriate for the rare high conceptual papers aimed at changing the way scholars think in general. However, the purpose of the standard theoretical paper should be to alter the research practices and not simply to tweak a conceptual model in ways that are of little consequence. The third factor is, are the underlying logic and supporting evidence compelling? Are the author's assumptions explicit? Are the author's views believable? So theory development papers should be built on a foundation of convincing argumentation and grounded in reasonable, explicit views of human nature and organizational practice. I always tell my students that if you are putting up arguments, make sure you are justifying that arguments either by some past research evidence or what past scholars have said, or based on your own analysis of data collected or your own analysis or interpretation of secondary data, but it has to be justified. You can't just draw out theoretical statements and throw them in the paper. You need to make a logical connection between all of it. The fourth factor would be, do the arguments in your research paper reflect a broad but also a current understanding of the subject? So the examiners will be looking at your paper and thinking if it reflects seasoned thinking, it conveys completeness and thoroughness. Have you considered multiple theoretical elements, giving the paper a conceptually well-rounded rather than a superficial quality? Do the arguments reflect a broad current understanding of the subject? If propositions are included, are they used properly? Does the argument have any glaring logical flaws? Does it appear that the author has developed these thoughts over an extended period of time, informed by an extensive peer input, or just put the paper together in a rush? Now remember, you don't only have to present the evidence that supports your arguments and your statements, but you also have to discuss the what we call them as disconfirming statements, statements that go against your theoretical arguments, and discuss why they do not hold in your research paper. So you cannot just show one dimensional thinking, you have to show multi-dimensional thinking and discuss the theories, whether they support or not support, to show that you have a broad understanding but also a current understanding of the subject. So you need to also discuss the current references as well as the old references on your paper. The examiner will also be looking at, of course, the most obvious thing is the paper well written and well formatted? Does it flow logically? Are the central ideas easily accessed? Is it enjoyable to read? Is the paper long enough to cover the subject but also short enough to be interesting? Does the paper's appearance reflect high professional standards? Are the paper's format and content consistent with the specifications in the notice to contributors? Now remember, your ideas has to flow logically. What does that mean? That means one step has to lead to the other. You cannot just introduce a new idea or a new concept and expect the reader to have an understanding, even though the readers may be from your area. You need to have a logical flow. Do not throw surprises at the reader. Make sure it has a structured flow so that one concept leads to the other, and the reader, you are kind of holding the reader's hand and guiding them through the research paper. The sixth concept is the topic of current interest to the reader, or is it of contemporary interest to scholars in your research area? Will it likely advance any kind of discussions, stimulate new discussions, or maybe revisit old discussions? Will the reviewers give low marks to papers they perceive are redundant, unconnected, or antiquated? So if you have nothing new to say, or if you are not making new connections, all this is a theoretical paper, you don't have to present data, but you should be able to make new connections which nobody has done before in your research area. It should also make sense in today's current times. If it doesn't make sense, or if you have nothing new to say, or if you're not making any logical connections or new connections, then of course the reviewers will not accept your theoretical paper. Finally, the reviewers will look at your topic and your research area and also think about the percentage of academic readers who will be interested in this topic. Now, although I do not agree with this practice, but in my experience it has happened before, where journal editors or conference editors have rejected papers or rejected abstracts, where they find that the topic, or although the paper has been well written, the topic is of not much interest to their readers. So that is why choosing the correct journal or sending your abstract to the editor and getting their feedback in advance may be a good idea for you to understand whether or how you should be framing your research topic, or how you should be writing your research paper so that it appeals to most of the journals of your research area, so that it can be reviewed and published. Because sometimes you may have a great research topic or a great research area, a valuable research area, but you may not have chosen the right direction in that research area, or it may be redundant, or it may be of no consequence or no interest, or it may not be creating any impact in today's environment. It may have done so in few years back. So a couple of advice I give is either be in touch with the editors before you start writing the paper. You can send them an abstract that discusses your idea. Abstracts are normally written at the end of the paper, but an abstract that discusses your idea. Or start thinking about the journals where papers very similar to yours are being published, and that might be a good way to go about it. So I took up this topic because most of the researchers think that theoretical and conceptual papers are not accepted. This is not the case. If they are written well and they are backed by evidence, they are backed by scientific evidence, objective evidence, and you are showing a complete and a multi-dimensional understanding of your topic, the editors will take interest in it. And there is a big space for theoretical and conceptual papers as well. For every paper you don't need to collect or present data, but spend some time on it. Make sure the logical connections are valuable, and your research idea that you are presenting should create an impact in that area, and that is what will interest not only the journal and conference editors, but it will also interest your readers and people who are interested in similar topics. Thank you for watching today's video, and I will see you soon with my next video. Bye for now.